17 minutes after 5 o'clock, 32 degrees, temperatures edging down ever so slightly. And, oh boy, this will be our first conversation of this 2024 Minnesota legislature. Being in North Dakota, I'm just not used to the fact that you guys go to work. You get to do that every year. Around here, they only are every other session. So, Bill Werner, our Capitol correspondent, thank you for joining us today.
Oh, absolutely, Jack. Yeah, it's good to be with you. Yeah, we do it every year. Although there's been talk about trying to make it every other year, legislative sessions, but that's never gone anywhere, or at least not very far.
Well, tell us what. Okay, one question I'd like to ask right out of the chute here is. I've been hearing talk about, I've read a little about this death with dignity. Is that a bill? Is there any hearings scheduled on that? And what is your understanding that would be included in that?
And I'll tell you, the gavel hadn't been down, even 15 minutes in the Minnesota House at the start of the legislative session, and that already came up, Jack. It's a bill that's called End of Life Options, and the Democrats held a hearing on it actually a few weeks back before the start of the legislative session, and the Republicans today said, "Well, why'd you do that? You could have had hearings over the summer on reducing taxes or any one of a number of issues." But they say that the only bill that was given a hearing during the interim was one on physician-assisted suicide, as they are terming it. There's support on it on the Democratic side. Governor Walz says it's certainly worth looking at. But the Senate Democratic Majority Leader, the new incoming Majority Leader, Aaron Murphy, says probably take some time for Minnesotans to get a handle on how they actually feel about this. She says, quote, "We're at the beginning of a process that will probably take more than 1 year before we're at a place where we can adopt it." So it's a controversial issue that just came up right here at the start of the 2024 legislative session, but it does not look like lawmakers are prepared to actually pass a bill this year.
Okay. I think one of the important considerations would have to be, this is something that just, came to mind immediately upon hearing it, is life insurance benefits. That would have to be figured into it, because if my understanding is correct, or I've always heard that life insurance is not paid on people who take their own lives. The beneficiaries do not benefit.
There's a whole range of issues, that being one of them. Another being in terms of if this, in fact, measures to ensure that there isn't coercion or pressure, measures to ensure that person is not taking their life because of, say, depression that might be a treatable condition. All those kind of things are going to factor into this debate, Jack, and it's the whole, and we just mentioned a couple of them there. There's a lot of areas.
Well, that is one specific topic, and in general, do you think that this 2024 session will be as contentious as was the 2023 session of the Minnesota legislature?
That's an interesting question, because Democrats had a lot of stuff queued up, all the way from abortion at one end to marijuana at the other. I tend to think probably not as intense a session as 2023 was, but that's not to say that there are not some controversial issues. As an example, Democrats seem to be ready to move ahead to put a equal rights amendment, combined equal rights and abortion rights constitutional amendment before voters, but they're probably not going to do it until 2026. In other words, pass it this year and do it in 2026. And there's a number of political reasons for that some people are acknowledging and other people aren't. So that's another controversial one. Well, just to mention one.
Well, what a pleasure this was. I appreciate you taking the time, and I hope you don't mind if I contact you again. Maybe, we'll see how much time you can carve out for us.
Always happy to talk to you guys. Okay, Jack? Absolutely.
Thank you very much. From Minnesota News Network, that's our KFGO Capital correspondent, Bill Werner, here on the Mighty 790.